Hi, I'm Adrian Durham, and after every England game, I deliver my marks out of 10 for all the players and for Gareth Southgate on the talkSPORT website, talksport.com. Now, it's got a huge reaction from fans, and as I found out on the journey back from Cologne, it got a huge reaction, and not a positive one, from Stuart Pearce as well, former England captain. So I thought I'd take time to explain exactly why I gave the marks I did for last night's England performance. So let's start with the England goalkeeper Jordan Pickford, who I gave a 7 out of 10. Now, some people think this is high, but your goalkeeper cannot afford to make any mistakes, and he made none. All right, there wasn't a lot of attacking going on from Slovenia. However, sometimes the ball did fall on his weaker foot, his right foot. He managed to clear it, no problem. You get an error from Jordan Pickford, and that's going to be costly. He didn't make any errors, so how can I criticise him? 7 out of 10 for Jordan Pickford. Not the same story, Kyle Walker. Unfortunately for Kyle, I gave him a 4 out of 10. He basically stood still for most of the game when we needed him to go overlapping, underlapping, doing something to support Bukayo Saka in front of him. He ended up at left back, and I'm wondering if that's a sign of things to come. However, it was a poor performance from Kyle Walker, and he knows he can do better. 4 out of 10 for him. Kieran Trippier, I'm going to give him 4 out of 10. There was one really good cross in the first half from Kieran Trippier, and he did get forward more in the first half. Better from him, but still not good enough, and faded out as the game went on. Just a 4 out of 10 for England's emergency left back. Mark Gahey, controversial one this one. Stuart Pearce particularly unhappy with this. I gave Mark Gahey a 3 out of 10. Been brilliant in the first 2 games. However, there was a huge error from him that led to a yellow card when he brought somebody down. And the worst case scenario, it could have led to a goal or even a red card for Mark Gahey. You cannot afford errors like this at a tournament like this. So therefore, I had to mark him down. 3 out of 10 for Mark Gahey. John Stones got a 4 from me, and the reason why is because there was little defending to do, and he didn't do anything in particular wrong, but John Stones is an experienced footballer. He's a really good passer of the ball, so when we're on the offensive, as we were for most of the second half in particular, but for most of the game, I expect him to use his passing ability to set England on their way. I did not see that happening from John Stones. Again, I expect more. That's why he got a 4 out of 10. Declan Rice. Okay, he was terrible in the second game. It was an improved performance, an energetic performance against Slovenia. However, still nowhere near enough. I gave him a 5 out of 10 because his pre-match promise was that they'd be front foot, they'd be in the faces. I didn't really see that too much, certainly not enough to go and win the game. Again, more needed from Declan Rice. Conor Gallagher didn't cover himself with glory. He had a great opportunity to make that midfield spot his own. Passes were loose. He gets just a 3 from me. He was dragged at half-time, and I can understand why. Jude Bellingham got a 3. Brilliant. 9 out of 10 in the first game. What has happened since? What is going on with Jude Bellingham? 3 out of 10. He is one of the world's best players, a Ballon d'Or contender. What is he doing with England? We need more. Bukayo Saka was taken off in the second half. Again, I'm not sure he's fully fit. 4 out of 10 I gave him, and maybe that's a little bit generous for Bukayo Saka. We expect so much more from one of the Premier League's best players. Phil Foden got a 5. This is the only one where I lost a little bit of sleep over it. I think he deserved a little bit higher. But what you got to remember is what Phil Foden can do and what he did do in the game last night. If you say that he was playing at 50% of his ability, then I think that's about right. He's capable of so much more. So maybe 5 out of 10 was just about right for Phil Foden, but probably the best of the outfield players. Harry Kane got a 4 out of 10, and I think that's quite generous. There were flashes in the second half of the old Harry Kane, but we are left questioning whether he is fully fit. I don't just throw these marks together, I think about them. Harry Kane, 4 out of 10, sounds about right. There was no goal to paper over the cracks either, to bump it up maybe 1 or 2 marks. Again, another player where we are expecting more from those players. Let's have a look at the subs. And now we get to the man of the match. Kobbie Mainoo came on at half-time and he was fantastic. Had that drive in midfield, he did his defensive work, he did his attacking work, linked things up really, really well. I thought he was absolutely superb, Kobbie Mainoo. Probably played his way into the starting lineup, to be honest with you. I gave him an 8 out of 10. He helped England look more positive in that second half. The only other sub I marked was Cole Palmer. He had 20 minutes, probably needed a little bit more. I gave him a 7 out of 10. He should have been on way sooner. Gareth Southgate should have made that decision. He showed what he can do, and if he's on from the start, then maybe we're going to get more from Cole Palmer. Quick word on Anthony Gordon. He was given, 4 or 5 minutes to do magic. I thought what he did well. Again, he should have been on sooner. Gareth Southgate, the manager, gets a 3 out of 10. This is a man who notoriously has a problem setting up a team to break down a low block, and that's what he was faced with against Slovenia. He just did not get the job done, and he didn't seem to know how to change it in-game either. Flaws in his management, it's why he's getting criticised. 3 out of 10, Gareth Southgate. Now, what I'd like to see going forwards into the knockout stages is a better balanced England side. The width has got to be better. Gordon's got to start. Palmer's probably got to start as well. And then you're asking, how do you fit in Foden and Bellingham? Well, maybe you drop Bellingham. He's been so bad in the last 2 games. Maybe he needs a break. Looking at his body language before the game, in the warm-up and during the game, not entirely sure he's himself right now, Jude Bellingham. We know he's going to be brilliant. Grateful for all the things he does for the England national team. Maybe it's just time to take him out of the firing line. Phil Foden did enough to stay in that number 10 position, in my opinion. The other thing I would say is probably do start Harry Kane. But listen, you've got goals on the bench. Look at the amount of Premier League goals. Jarrod Bowen scored. Ollie Watkins scored as well. These guys deserve time on the pitch towards the end of the game, middle of the second half onwards, if Harry Kane isn't delivering. Harry Kane doesn't have to stay on for 95 minutes. Get him off. Give someone else a chance. That's what I say. I think things might open up for England because whoever they play in the round of 16, if it's the Netherlands or whoever, they're going to be on the front foot. They're going to be different to how Slovenia were, needing a point to get through. Maybe, just maybe, it'll open up for England and we might go on and win it. It's coming home.